Hello and welcome to this fantastic new edition of Hodl My Beer. So it's a crypto series where I'll be looking at, three coins. We will dive into the market, looking at three kind of setups. Like one is a fast trades, like, that we're looking for maybe in the next couple of days, that we want to profit from, or maybe even intraday. And the other one will be a weekly flip. So we're looking at on a weekly level, how long we can hold it depends on the setup. And one, we will be looking at a monthly swing, like, maybe something that we hold for a few weeks. And I'll be presenting this series as and when I find some really tasty and juicy setups for some gains. But yeah, let's dive right into this one. So first up, I have a coin called Chromia. So this one has been consolidating for a while, been on a sustained downtrend. So I'll try to keep this series real short because yeah, we just want to establish some awesome setups that we can look at, and maybe yeah, we will over time get a feel for it. So maybe you're new to the market, or you're just like, you just can't keep up with so many setups. So I will try my best, and please share in the comments if you find a setup that you would like to look at, or you find something interesting. Maybe I can jump on that as well. So all this is for just for educational purposes. This is not financial advice, so let's get that out of the way and let's dive right in. So here we have Chromia, right? As you can see on the weekly chart, like if we see, it's been in a sustained downtrend for a while, right? Like, and right now it is absolute bottom. Like if it were to go below this, you can very much say that that's going to be dead, but it had a awesome run just some time back, like from October last year. So just around this time last year, it went on a massive run. So it is quite poignant that we are hitting this at this point. So yeah, maybe there's something that timing in the markets is something that you will realize is very important. And like if we see that pivot where it really started going, lines up here, somewhere around here. So you call it a coincidence or whatever, but maybe 1 or 2 weeks, give or take, maybe we are, maybe we see something, at least a similar rally. Like I wouldn't mind even if it was like just about 10% of this. So yeah, or maybe like, yeah, this much, that's more than enough. But anyway, so let's just dive right in, and we'll see some indicators how and some setup. So on the weekly level, we can clearly see it is something that we can take a risk on, and we have clear invalidation below this point. Like, I mean, if we were to really go for a wide stop, yeah, but we will be looking at a tighter risk reward here. So as you can see, this is starting to move a little bit. So I would say that we can be safe to say that we don't want to see it go below this move, right? Like because this is something that we want to play for a short-term game, and we don't want a stop of, let's say, I don't know, this must be something, it's about 10%. So it's quite a lot. So here we are, right? We are seeing that, yeah, there was quite a consolidation, huge bar, and yeah, now we're at the range highs. So obviously also at the range highs, and also a little bit on the midpoint of this range. So as we are currently rejecting from that. So what we are looking at is then ideally somewhere around here we would look for an entry. So this is around yeah, this is around, let me put a price label here. So this is around sorry guys, I've just passed out there. Yeah, here it is. So somewhere around 1733, right? This is what we are looking for on a retrace. So that would be, let's say, 382 of the move. I would imagine it is like, it's around about 382 of the move. And this means, like, if it were to start bouncing from here or here, this means that the trend is very, very strong. And yeah, it just increases the likelihood of it working out a little bit more. Once it starts going, if it starts going below 0.5, which is around here, then we are approaching a very, like, then maybe this move fizzles out, and we are probably going to see, yeah, a little bit of a deeper retrace. And you don't want to be holding through that, because we are just looking, we don't want to be holding this trade. We just want it to get some quick gains. So once it starts doing this, then you never know, maybe it visits these lows, and we want to be prepared to catch it, and if we miss out, like if it starts doing this, we don't want to be holding on to this. So yeah, we'll have a pretty clean setup here that we look for a potential we will be looking for an entry at least at 1733 with a potential, like, yeah, this is where we will, like, or maybe we can actually go till here, like, this is like a wider stop. But you can also, I like to do is go for a smaller position, and in case that it starts closing below some of these levels, like, then I will maybe re-enter and I will reevaluate. So then I can take a 2.6% loss here, and then I can see how it reacts to this level, and then take a punt again. And if it were to move at all, then I would have recovered my loss by the time it gets here, right? Like if I were to take it again. So anyway, that is a way to enter it. So yeah, I mean, we are looking at this, and if we look at some of the indicators that we have, that would give us an idea. So currently, like, this is like the 10, 20 and the 50 EMA. There are a lot of indicators we can use, but choose whatever you like. But ideally, what we are looking for is then like, obviously this is now getting rejected from the 50, so we want to see it come here, establish these two as support. So maybe it chops around a little bit here, maybe just like for a little bit it just chops around, like, yeah, here. And then by the time this catches up, by the time the 50 catches up, like here, it kind of goes does something like this. 50, like, yeah, this starts chopping around, 50 kind of goes here, these two kind of come here, and it kind of creates a a little bit of a wedge. Once it breaks that, this is the safer entry. So once it breaks that, then we have another setup. If you want, like, maybe if you check this video at another time, maybe much later, then yeah, you have this other setup, which is actually quite a safer buy. And I would maybe, like, maybe it makes sense to wait for that one, like where you have something of this sort with the invalidation, with the invalidation below the low that we formed there, and it establishes the EMAs as support. And then usually once it establishes the EMAs as support, usually there's not a lot of time for you to enter, because it just goes boom, like, and if we see there's a lot of profit potential here, so it's about 30 30% easy, just still here. And if you were to look at some of the hopium, like some of the hopium moonshots, then who knows how far this can go. That obviously depends on a lot of other factors. So yeah, that is looking like a good trade. And also, if I were to say, like, one second. Also, is also forming a pattern which we can call the 3 drives pattern, right? So this is something to be mindful of as well. So you never know if it will, but what it looks like right now is something like 1, 2, 3, getting rejected on that time frame, and then it does something like this, right? So this is also a possibility, a bit of an harmonic, but yeah, so we want to be mindful of that. And we can see that the volume is quite heavy. Like, we can see that, yeah, it is kind of forming a like a bullish divergence here on the daily. So that's looking pretty good, and this is a definite, like, buy for now. And yeah, I mean, of course you could think, yeah, it could come here, it could go a lot of places, we don't know. And if we try to guess every move, we will never enter a trade, right? Like, here you could have thought it could have gone here you could have thought it could have gone here. I mean, we can think a lot of things, and we have to play the market. So yeah, I mean, you can look at some diagonals here, like this is a clear, kind of a resistance. So yeah, ideally we want to get into this one for a move up till here. And yeah, then we will see how it, behaves around that area. Maybe it establishes some support here. So that's the basic idea. And the volume is coming in here as well. So, there is a bullish divergence on the volume as well. You saw, like, last time, yeah, you saw last time here, you have that hidden bullish divergence, right? So now we are looking for a move to the highs. So yeah, that is basically the setup. I mean, I would say that we could wait for a little bit on the 4 hour or on the 1 hour. We are looking for it to establish some kind of support here, right? The next setup will be, so basically we wait for our entry around here. Maybe it doesn't come there because, I plan on doing this video a few hours back, and my word, it's already flown up a little bit. So since then, so yeah, I mean, we'll see if it comes back to our entry, but we have to keep an eye out on this area, because a lot of people might be short on this, based on this candle. And when this comes in, they're all caught with their pants down. And now this kind of action is telling you that a lot of people are trapped in shorts, so they are really counting on this to come down. Usually when that happens, the price doesn't really visit, have too much of a deeper retrace. So we'll see how this plays out. So that's one setup, right? And then yeah, and you can see on the RSI, it's a little bit exhausted, but it doesn't have to come down immediately. It can stay here for a while, and it can really pump to the high. So let's see. The other one that I would say for a little bit of a medium term play, would be Neo. So Neo had a solid run, like some time back. It had quite an awesome run, hitting like, yeah, from here, like it was up like 300%, and now it has gone quiet for a while. So Neo, and I would also put another one in that basket is TRB. It's also been a little bit it has also been a little bit quiet, but you can see, man, this one was an absolute home wrecker. It was an absolute home wrecker. Like, I remember I was caught on a short on this one, but not as bad as this. Like, I mean, I got out for a bit of a loss, like quite a heavy loss, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't wait for this one, right? Like, I mean, this was, yeah, it was a home wrecker. Like, you're on the streets if you held that short, no matter what position size you had. Oh my God, that was like, yeah, even imagine if you were on a $20 position and on a 10x. So you imagine what that looks like. And that is just 20. And who the hell is going to open a $20 short? But you can imagine, if you went anywhere any higher than that. Anyway, so we will stick to the one that I was talking about. But also on a side note, I would say that while we're looking at CHR, right, like just before I go there, so you're looking at this setup, it is, forming a pretty similar pattern, and fundamentally this is, one of the stronger projects, like similar project, with a real world use case as Chromia. It is like it introduces relational databases to the blockchain. Similar, similar kind of idea is with Rwave, Rwave. So you can see it is forming a similar pattern. Like, there are some of these alts that are forming a similar pattern. You could see INJ also had that pattern, but now it's broken out of that pattern, right? And it's established this as support. Yeah, I did play that, but I think I had a position on that. Let me just show you guys, I had a bit of a position on this, I closed it already, but yeah, it was decent, so I mean, I kind of managed to catch that one. But anyway, so what we were saying is, yeah, you want to keep, if Chromia starts pumping, you want to maybe keep an eye out on Rwave as well, because it is forming, and early similarities to Inch, like these two, really hard stopping candles, on the weekly, just telling you that there are a lot of buyers here, like they're making sure that we don't go below that level. So that is telling, right? That's telling you a story. So yeah, we will keep an eye out on that. But as we were going to Neo, so yeah, it's been quiet for a while, and we have had this clearing candle, like a little bit of a clear out. So we will go on the 4-hour, right? It is starting to break out. It has just had this huge candle. Now, if it were to establish this as support, anywhere where it goes here and establishes support here, I would be a buyer around this area. So yeah, keep an eye out on Neo as well. And you can see on a monthly level, it is not looking bad, and the main point about this is, nobody's paying attention to this, and this is the kind of coin you want to be looking at when nobody's paying attention to it, because once, then there's just the manipulation starts. This is now in accumulation phase. Let's look at, and you can see that, on a monthly level, it is gaining in, the lows, it's making higher lows. So that itself, and it has established this base. So we have clear invalidation below this. That's what makes this a very nice setup, right? Like we have a clear invalidation, and we are looking for this maybe on a weekly basis, that we will hold it for a few days or maybe a couple of weeks, right? So here we go. If we were to even hit this one, we are on a 70% gain. Even we have an order block here. Like we can go into these concepts. There are very nice teachers on YouTube which can teach you that like far better also, I would say. But yeah, anyway, so we have like this level, to target the highs. And I mean, if we were to just pull out the RR tool, yeah, even as it is right now, it's on the weekly level. So of course, it's going to be a massive stop loss. But that's like on a monthly level. But anyway, we will not go through that because that's just too wide. I mean, who the hell, which maniac is trading with a 20% stop loss? Anyway, so this is starting to move, right? I mean, I want to maybe, if I were to go, okay, I want to maybe have, so it's a stylistic choice, right? Like either you can go for this low, with the where you have, okay, maybe you might get stopped out, and then you wait for this low to get raided, and then you start another position, or you already start with a, maybe a wider stop. I mean, it depends on how much you can manage the trade. Like, okay, this is gone to the dogs. Oh my God. Yeah, it depends on your style, right? Like, I mean, this is obviously, yeah, this is like a 10% stop. So, you're looking at much wider stop. But yeah, but if you're able to manage the trade a little bit more, then you can start with a tighter one like here. So yeah, just try to keep this on your radar, and I will add some confluences to this. That said, there's one here. Boom. So this is a classic, like, triangle breakout. If we were to go up here and then maybe does something like this, you can wait for that as well, like this, and and then you enter it. But yeah, we will have to see how the volume and everything. You have to watch out what the clues are. So see, right now, again, there's a hidden bullish divergence here. It's trying to climb up. I mean, if we got that a bit earlier, maybe we could have already been on this move, which was like probably this double stopping candle. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the golden pocket. Just about. Okay, just about. So yeah, that's also a sign that it didn't even reach it front ran that level. Usually, sign of aggressive buyers. Turns out it's all good. Anyway, like we're talking hindsight, so of course, I'm the best trader ever to live. But yeah, so this is something we're keeping a lookout on. And now we'll talk about a play which is on a higher time frame. Like this is like a cyclical play, where, yeah, if this one works out, like this is with awesome fundamentals, like Curve, they have their own like liquidation in, like how they go about liquidations, like they have their own way of dealing with that. It's a very revolutionary way. And the price that it is at currently does not really justify the fundamentals that it has. I mean, if coins like these are going to zero, then there's really no hope for crypto, according to me. So I will say that this is definitely, yeah, like, yeah, well, try your best to get on this. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if you're like even right with, like, this is like at this stage, this is better than a meme coin. Like if you're into gambling, then this is like a much better thing to gamble on, because if once this starts running, it will run this thing. So as you can see, it's really like consolidating on a very, very tight range. So if we were to just mark out this range, right, let's go with a classic, whatever, we can pull up the fib tool just to get some lines on the chart, right? That's what we're doing anyway. So it's just all lines on the chart, bro. But yeah, here we have it, right? So we have broken through that level already. This low, is a good point to get into this, because it's starting to move. Even if it goes here, it's a 10% move, but we want to establish a strong position on this one. Like, we only think about profits, once it's maybe 20%, because like we want to start real small on this one. So I wouldn't advise putting in some hard capital just yet until it starts clearing some levels. Most notably, maybe we want to, like, if we have, let's say we're going to open a $1,000 position, right? Maybe 100 euros on 10x, leverage doesn't matter, right? So if we were to do that, we're looking for, let's say 30, we're looking at like 30 like something like 30% of your money here, like 30 here, and then yeah, 30 is about here, like we will put in 30, like just when it retraces around 26, 2588, something of that sort, like I would go for like, yeah, maybe 26, yeah, 2622. And then like, yeah, then we wait for it to clear or form a little bit of a support area. But then if it goes down, here, then again we have a decision to make. Do we want to keep DCAing, or we want to make for a lower price? So I would, in that case, let it go a little bit lower, maybe 2202, and then I will start adding another 30% here. And based on that reaction, I will, I will hold off. But if it starts rejecting here, then I will exit that trade. Maybe, my entry price would be around here at this stage, and maybe I close for a small loss and I wait for it to clear this level, like how it behaves when it reaches this level, right? But yeah, but if you're gonna wait it out entirely, maybe it comes here, maybe it never does. Like, if BTC corrects hardcore, then yeah, it might. But ultimately, we wait for that level, and we will just add DCA slowly, like 30 30 30. And we can see that there is some volume, like there's a lot of sell volume. Like, we're just looking for some clues here. It is a little bit of a bullish divergence here, like because you can see that price has made a lower low, but the yeah, the stochastic RSI is pretty solid. So yeah, it's just crossing above the 20, so there's some strength there. I'll be looking at this, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to show you any hopium targets, but you can see the potential for this one if it were to start moving. I mean, this is like multiple x's. If you went till 1.5, probably be a 6x or something. So size accordingly is the main one. Like, if it's a 6x, it doesn't mean that you have to, like, you have to put in, yeah, your life savings into it. You really have to build up a position slowly, because yeah, we can look at the upside, but the downside is equally important. Like, suppose we are, like, in this area, which is like this area, it could have a rejection here at some point. But yeah, definitely get out below this level, because we don't know, we might visit this one, and that is a long way away. That's like easily about 30%, and that's the scenario where BTC goes to 52k or maybe lower. It'll be a bloodbath, so we don't want to be caught with our pants down on that one. So that's about it. Like, I can go in a bit more detail in these, but for now I would just leave it. This is at the range high, so no point getting in right now, guys, because this is how you get wrecked. So either we wait for this to be established as support, or we see how it behaves here. Like, maybe it comes down, maybe feels some level. So don't just enter just yet. Like, maybe we want to see the reaction here. Maybe I'll post a follow-up update on when it's a good time to enter. But for sure, keep an eye out. Maybe you have your system in place and it gives you a signal. So yeah, that's it for me, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Happy to take any comments, criticism, whatever you like. This is obviously just my first couple of videos, so would really appreciate any feedback. And yeah, hopefully I can bring you some really cool plays, and we can make some bank together. Cheers, enjoy your day, and yeah, have a good weekend. Bye.